Hey there, it's Lukazi. Thanks for joining me for another game here on, looks like Shattered Temple between SniXSniPe and Orb, and it looks like this is a ladder map as there is the proper manners displayed at the beginning, and Snix is not pink. You can tell when Snix sends you a replay and he's not pink, it's a ladder map. So in this case, Orb is spawning in the top position as the red Protoss, and Snix is spawning in the bottom position as the blue Terran. And I believe Snix is no longer true to his randoming ways while on the ladder, and is mostly picking Terran now, which makes me a little sad, but it's understandable. When you have a Grandmaster Terran living in your house who you can watch and practice with, I can understand going Terran. Especially because they're both so good at it. Trimaster and Snix, just fantastic Terran players. Really good with their drop play and their micro. And interestingly enough, this is something weird about those two guys. They are right-handed, but they play like a lefty because their dad is left-handed. So when they started learning to play on the computer, the mouse was to the left of the keyboard, and they never questioned it. They just thought that's where the mouse went for most people. And they didn't think about it, and they've always played with the mouse in the left hand. So when you watch these guys at like a LAN, it's funny to watch because they have their hands like a foot apart or like 6 inches apart because the mouse is right there next to their other hand on the standard WASD position. It's very odd to watch. Now that I've given you some backstory and creepily revealed family information of theirs, Orb is building a gateway at the top of his ramp. Interestingly, in Terran vs Protoss, you don't always see that. And he has picked up his assimilator. He is harassing over here in Snix's base. He has dropped an assimilator on this geyser, which I can see. It denies some tech paths, at least fast tech paths. The Marines have to sit there and tickle it forever because assimilators have 900 HP for some reason, which I've yet to figure out why they have double the HP of any other gas building, especially because the worker doesn't have to be there to finish it. It just drops it and runs away, and then it gets double the HP of everything. I don't get that. But to be fair, Protoss need assimilators probably more than anybody else, so I guess that prevents them from getting picked off too easily and drop play. Either way, this is a well-placed assimilator because it is right next to this barracks, so it lets it see what type of tech that Snix is going. So this is a really good play by Orb, actually, because he is seeing you can tell by the little green shooting in to the reactor there, or the tech lab, and the green being sucked in through the front of it, that actually there is tech going down. He sees the Marauder being pumped out, so he assumes that there's either stim going down on that, which is unlikely because he stole a gas, or concussor shells going down on that, so he's going to be able to prepare for a concussor shell Marauder push if that is coming, and he has eliminated a few options of what else could be coming. Second Marauder being produced here. Orb's still only on one gateway. He's producing a sentry off that second, and he is picking up his warp gate research and fast expanding right now. Looks like he's going to wait till he has 400 minerals and drop that second nexus. What's he doing? Oh, he's boosting out a stalker. He does need that for defending the middle of the map. It's important to have for map control, and his expansion can wait just a few seconds. And come on, you're over 400. There we go. Expansion dropped there by Orb. Snix's expansion, of course, almost done. He's going to convert it probably and then fly it down to the natural. He is going up to 3 racks, picking up his factory a little earlier. Well, a little earlier for him. He really loves the barracks units. He likes Marines more than anyone I've ever seen in Protoss or Terran vs Protoss. He makes Marines do things that would make you blush. Well, maybe not blush. Maybe cry. Maybe blush, depending on how embarrassed you were to watch your Colossus evaporate to a Marine army. And a good scan going down there by Snix. It was in the middle of Orb's base, so he got a good amount of information on that scan, actually, I believe. Let's see. He saw some type of building going up over here, a gateway likely, a gateway going down here, second gas just being picked up, which lets him know that there was an expansion or it's a 4 gate. And since he really hasn't seen that much aggression coming out, and he's been good about moving around in this general area. Yeah, see, he's going to move out. He's going to drop some bunkers. He's going to prepare just in case there's a 4-gate, because when you see the second gas being taken that late, you can assume there might be some, or you can imagine there being some type of 4-gate pressure. It's not to kill, it's just to pressure. So he's dropping the bunker there. Stim almost finished for SniX here. Combat shields going down, starport going down. Second gas starting to harvest. Loading up the Marines into the bunker, which is of course the unit you want to put in there, as they have far less health and deal far more DPS to anything but stalkers, such as Zeals, Marines, or Zeals, Sentries, and I guess they probably do almost the same amount of DPS actually on a stalker. Stalkers have 1 armor. Let's see. 20 a shot at 1.5 versus 6 a shot at 0.86. Yeah, they pretty much do almost the exact same amount of damage. Well, no, I guess they deal less. I'm being crazy. So we have 4-gate out of Orb, so he hasn't picked up a Robo at all. And he's dropping double forge, so he's going for the upgraded gateway army composition, a la Adele Scott, who made it very famous. It was around before him, but he is a player that uses it a lot, and to great success in the TSL, got really far with it, and had a lot of Protoss versus Terran games, so he's going to be remembered for that, and I think for a long time people are going to be calling it the Adele Scott type of play style. Fourth barracks going down. Ghost Academy is down by SniX. And as I mentioned before, Ghosts are awesome. They're pretty much my favorite unit. I want to use them in like every single matchup. I think they have use everywhere. Versus Zerg, you can cloak and like walk up to their army and just start shooting everything. You can pick off like half the banelings in an army before an Overseer gets morphed. And right when you see the Overseer morphing, you can just snipe the hell out of it. Can be really annoying with it, to say the least. A Robo and a Twilight Council going down. The Twilight Council might just, well, I mean, if you're going this heavy gateway, I can imagine Zeal legs being picked up first, because Zeals are fantastic against a Terran player's army. They just take so little damage to the Marines and have more health. And with legs, you eliminate their only downside, which is their melee units. But they have as much health as the Stalker, cost less, and deal more damage, more DPS when they're actually in melee range. Weapon speed 1.2, weapon speed, yeah, they do more DPS. SniX with some interestingly placed supply depots. A factory over here, just kind of chilling in the air. I'm not really sure what that's for. And SniX with a drop, it looks like, in the main of Orb. It looks like he picked off some workers. Yeah, he picked off 3 workers there. Not a whole lot. He did pick off, wow, he picked off the forge that was giving +1 armor. That's a massive pickoff when you're running this Marine force, because that plus armor just scales those Zeals so well. So he picked that off right before it finished, actually, so that was really big. +1 armor now being researched on this forge that is still up, and it is going to be chrono boosted till get out. All the probes are pretty much saved from that drop. No real damage done to the probe line, and they are headed back to work here on the mineral fields of the main base. And Orb needs to pick up a 3rd here. He has a lot of probes. A lot of probes. Look at those just mill around here. They're not really even doing anything. He actually needs to transfer a few more back to his main. And quite a few gateways going down. High Templar are about to start hitting the field after that finishes researching. Zeal legs being researched first. So what you want to do when you see this bio army and you're going for mass gateway, you want Zeal legs first. Blink is good because if you win the engagement and they're forced away, you can pick off the Medivacs really easily while they run, even if they like go over a cliff or something. And SniXS picking up the one ghost he has in his army, or one of the two ghosts, and I'm not sure what he's doing with that. He's landing it up on top. A good EMP goes down, and all the sentries get hit by it. Very good EMPs here by SniXS. He takes out almost every unit's shields. There's a stalker with shields. That's it. Elevatoring his units back up to the top to try and minimize the effectiveness of those Zeals. These ghosts being picked up and dropped multiple times, but it does look like Orb is going to hold this push here by SniXS. And SniXS looks like he's going to get... Oh, no. He looked like he was going to get away, and now these stalkers pick off one of the Medivacs. Look like they might pick off the other Medivac, which has two ghosts in it. Very important not to lose that Medivac. And he does not manage to save the Medivac, and it looks like both ghosts, a Marine and a Marauder, did fall from that. So those four stalkers incredibly effective by Orb there. A little bit of a miss-micro situation there by SniXS. But SniXS is moving out to take his gold. This is going to be his third base, so he is very far ahead of the Protoss economically. Protoss has dropped a second forge and is boosting that, and it looks like, my guess is both his +2s are going to finish here momentarily. Oh, his +1 just finished because it did get picked off, his armor. His +2 attack is about to finish. Sidestorm is about halfway through. A second robo going down somewhere? Where's that second robo? There it is. 2 robos about to be out. Many High Templars have entered the field. 6 just warped in. And he has his army on the same hotkey twice, and then his Templars in a separate group, which I don't understand because, as I mentioned before, you might be getting tired of hearing this, you need to have your sentries on a separate hotkey to be able to use their moves. If they're in the same group as your High Templar, it's not going to work. And it looks like he does it by just keeping his High Templar in a totally separate group. Interesting strategy, perfectly viable. Vikings scouting around here by SniXS. Says, oh yeah, look at all you probes. You guys look busy down there. There's a lot of you. I'm going to stand here till I die. Yep. And it gets picked off. SniXS has a large force in the middle of the map. Looks like there's going to be a pretty big engagement here at the 150-ish supply mark. And SniXS is expanding behind this, so by no means is he slacking on that macro. He's going to stay a base up, and a big engagement going down here in the middle, big stim going down, EMPs landing on some of the forces, but big storms going off, chasing away, another storm going off, but it does not look like it's going to be enough. Orb's Immortals and all of his army was EMP'd there, and it looks like SniXS is just going to roll across the map and push into the main of Orb here, and I do not think Orb can stop him. SniXS went down about 10 supply in that entire battle. Everything is really low on HP. He might stim these things near to death. The EMP whiff there was actually where the Zeals used to be, but those Zeals go really fast. +3 damage is getting stopped by taking out that forge, and I do not see Orb coming back from this. All these probes are running away. A lot of them get away, but not all of them. And SniXS is going to take out this natural. I'm just waiting for Orb to GG here pretty much. This very well microed ground force, this barracks force, out of SniXS with the ghosts, really great EMPs, and really great micro, moving them out of storms. Just fantastic. It looks like a last stand going down here over by Orb. And these Zeals are going to charge in without the Archons there. SniXS throwing down a scan in case there was Dark Templars, I guess. And EMP going off on the Archons, immediately getting melted. All their shields are gone. Orb saying, I forgot. Marines are the counter to Sidestorm. That's a little... So here we see SniXS developing a very strong ground army, +2/+2, with ghosts there to counter the High Templars, which was the actual counter to the Sidestorm Orb. And with that force, with those upgrades, and stim and a proper Medivac backbone here, looks like he had up to 5 Medivacs, 6 Medivacs there at the end, with +3 going down. He did get a cancel on the +1 armor, which is extremely crucial. That fight at the top of the ramp that went down would not have gone nearly as well for SniX. I mean, he still lost it and was forced away, but he would not have done nearly as much damage as he did had that +1 been finished, because so much of his army was Marines. So picking that off was a huge, huge advantage. And that's one of those things as a Terran player that you need to go do. Versus Zerg, you need to drop their expansions with Marines, pick off some drones, get away, etc. Versus Protoss, you need to drop their base and pick off a production or a tech facility or two, whether it be a robotics bay, whether it be a forge that looks like it's being chrono boosted, so you know that plus is going down on it. I mean, if you can't tell just by the basic animations of it, if you can't tell that something's different, if it's being boosted, there's something going on there. So it's safe to pick it off and assume that you did something good. You don't know how far through production it is, of course, but you can be like, oh, I'm picking this off before it finishes production. And if it's really close, they're going to try and defend it with everything they have, and they're not going to cancel it. If you don't see a cancel on it, you know that you did something really well. So here, SniX displaying that Marine, Medivac, Marauder, Ghost, MMMG, which is becoming extremely common versus Protoss. You don't even need to pick up Vikings unless you see a Colossus. Similar, you just go straight for Ghosts and counter the High Templars. So there you have it. There's another game by SniX. You should like it down below if you liked his play. You should subscribe down below or follow, depending if you're on Justin TV or on Facebook. I guess you could follow me on Facebook. I haven't set up one of those actually yet. Follow me, subscribe to me, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Justin TV. Thanks for tuning in again. This is Lokazi casting another Masters level replay for you from a University of Houston player. I'll see you guys next time.